Now, listen, you guys, you know that things are really getting real when people start making up rumors to start discrediting Nicki Minaj just so when they fall flat on their faces, they can also say that, well, look at her tour didn't really do good. We're going to talk about Advolvo BBL's tour, and we're also going to be discussing about the so-called alleged deal that she got with LV, which turned out to be a lie. At the same time, we're going to be discussing about SZA showing Jatavia some love, and of course some fans feel like, well, that is definitely shady. At the same time, we're also going to be covering something that Tasha K mentioned sort of in passing, but I paid attention to that and I've been meaning to talk about it. Hello tea lovers and welcome to the tea blog. I trust you guys are doing well and I trust you are doing great. Personally, I am doing great, you guys. I am doing extremely amazing. And without further ado, let us dive straight into today's tea. So, first of all, let us talk about this entire SZA and Jatavia situation, okay? So, SZA was out there posting Jatavia's, match on her Instagram story. And of course, people peeped it. I personally saw it on Millie's, Instagram account. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? When at first glance, I was like, oh, okay, SZA seems to be cool with Jatavia. Okay. I didn't think much into it. But then, upon seeing what people are saying, it feels like, well, people feel some type of way because they do feel like, well, for SZA to be out there liking Jatavia and supporting Jatavia after Jatavia just went ham on Advocate BBL must mean that SZA is not cool with Advocate BBL anymore. Now, of course, when Advolvo BBL released their album, there were a lot of, things that were spoken and people were, alleging that SZA allegedly refused to be on the album. And you do know that Advolvo hasn't stopped talking about people who declined to be on her album because, well, she does feel entitled that everybody has to work with her because her label and Offset negotiating on her behalf at the beginning of her career made her think that, well, people should be honored to work with her because during that time she had massive industry backing. So I guess she really did think that, well, it would continue like that, forever, which is not the case. Like we established on this channel, well, if people do like you out of spite of another person, once you fail on the mission to humble or take out that person, they lose interest in who you are. Okay, so her project, her purpose in the music industry is done, and people are like, you failed us. We gave you the collaborations, we gave you everything on a silver platter, we gave you fake stats, but at this point, you're not doing the job good. So why should we be on your album and flop together with you? That's exactly what they are thinking. Because let's be honest, that album was being sold on the streets, and I mean the pricing itself, people were just like, I'm not willing to risk being associated with that album for anything. So people felt like, well, that shade was majorly directed towards SZA, and SZA herself did say something about AI shortly after people had started speculating that they had tweaked parts of her album to make it sound like a SZA voice, and then they ended up justifying it, saying that, well, it's just Summer Walker voice that they played around with. But during that time, SZA went ahead and said something about AI. But coincidentally, that was the time where that AI artist signing a major deal situation went viral. So of course, SZA, like the lying SZA that she is, she turned around and tried to make it seem like she wasn't talking about the AI situation with Advolvo BBL's album, but she was rather talking about that AI artist. Now, am I shocked that SZA would definitely throw rocks and hide her hands? Absolutely not, because that is her style. You know those women that, I don't want to say low self-esteem, but it gives very much that. They will not shade you with their chest. They will play these slick games like, oh, I'm shading you. Oh, I'm not, because I never said your name. Meanwhile, everything that they're doing is absolutely shady. Like Doja Cat type of vibe. That's what SZA gives me. So, of course, Advolvo BBL fans feel some type of way about SZA working with Jatavia after the back and forth that happened between Advolvo and Jatavia. So, I don't know what they expected, that SZA would all of a sudden stop hanging or stop supporting Jatavia. Like it doesn't make any sense. But then again, they are used to that happening, okay? Each time Advovo BBL would beef with Nicki Minaj, people were quick to pick sides and pick her. But now that she's beefing with the other girlies and people are not picking her side or cutting off the other girls for her, it seems like they have an issue with that. But let me know in the comment section what you think about this entire mess. Now, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Still talking about Advovo BBL. The tour clearly is not doing great. The tour is not doing well, to the point where even the owner of the tour is not even talking about it. That's how bad it is, okay? And you guys remember all those pages that were so quick to post the stats about Nicki Minaj's tours, like daily updates. Oh my God, this one is not selling. Oh my God, she wants Kate Williams to sell. They are crickets when it comes to Advovo BBL's album. Absolutely nothing. They are not putting anything out with regards to that album. But what they are now doing is they're trying to go ahead of the situation by trying to insinuate that Nicki Minaj's tour did not sell, which is absurd when you think about it. Because, I mean, despite you guys coming up with all these narratives trying to lie that her tickets were selling for $10, I'm like, who do you think she is? She's not the one, in subways and street side trying to sell tickets, and she does not do antics like that. Who are you mistaking her for? She's not Advovo BBL. Surely Advovo did cop an entire face that belongs to Nicki Minaj, but that doesn't mean that they are the same person. Where are you guys getting confused? Literally, I mean, I do get it. Their faces, the other one is replicating the eyes and everything, but you cannot get confused. How insulting is it for you guys to mistake a legend like Nicki Minaj to Advovo BBL? Because that would be the only logical explanation, that you guys are mistaking Advovo for Nicki Minaj. Because why else would you think that Nicki is out there selling her tickets for $10? Like, who do you think she is? A plant from Pacific? No. Onika would never do such a thing. And I will insert the video that I'm talking about, you guys. But this man is coming out here trying to say that, well, Nicki is rude. I promise you, he went on and on and on about how Nicki Minaj was rude. And, well, the reason why he's saying that is because, well, according to him, he worked on the tour. And then he then goes on to say that, well, I never really got to meet her. So make it make sense. The way he continuously would say, oh, she's difficult to work with. Oh, she's aggressive. Oh, she's rude. Just basically the normal stereotype that they try to put on a black woman who tries to speak up for themselves. That's exactly what they were doing. And at this point, I have to ask him, who is paying you, sir? Because there is no way you can voluntarily come on the internet and make yourself look like a clown like this, unless there's some money involved. Is there polarization there? Because if not, why would anyone volunteer to be a clown and to be self-contradictory on this internet? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. But I will insert that at the end of this video. Let me know in the comment section, you guys, who do you think is behind this narrative that is being pushed, that, well, Nicki's tour didn't do so well? Who do you think is trying to get ahead of their own sorry situation, so that when, well, people start gagging them, they will say, oh my God, hers wasn't that great anyway. Anyway, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let's talk about this entire LV deal. Who is also coming up with this rumor? And what are they trying? At this point, I'm just like, the desperation is really real. Because they were out there running with the lie that Advovo BBL signed a $50 million, not me saying a $50 million deal with LV. Now, personally, what I think is going on is, after that entire situation she had where she went off and she was speaking about autistic children and, making infertility on the internet, and people kind of saw how much of an insane, insensitive, and clownish person she is, they are trying to make it seem like she's not losing deals. People don't care. You know how they ran with the GP doesn't care about what she's doing. GP doesn't want to cancel her. That's the picture that they want to portray. Hence, she went with this entire milk selling, advert. She was trying to prove a point that, well, I'm uncancelable. And guess what? You guys will fall for that and you will start supporting both. And I wouldn't be surprised if that milk advert didn't even pay her that much. But they had to do it for the image. And I do believe that the leaking of the LV rumor was strategically put out there for people to look past what she has done, or for people to say that, well, you see, even big brands are not canceling her because, well, she wasn't in the wrong. That's like, it's so clear if you pay attention. Because who started that rumor? Oh my God. Let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about that. Now, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. This is the part that I've been wanting to talk about for, a number of days now. So when everything was going down with Nicki Minaj exposing that, well, people were out there stealing from her, Tasha K did a space. And in that space, she was kind of talking about how at some point, the reason why Nicki started to fearlessly go for Jay-Z, at some point is because the title swindler, people were kind of expecting that is going to be going down under when certain allegations came out about him. Now, according to Tasha K, at some point, even the wife, Beyonce, was out there getting ready for a separation. I do not know if it was a marital separation or if it was just a separation of businesses, to say that I am my own brand. I'm not associating with this man. Now, this is what Tasha K is alleging. Now, if that was the situation, that would mean that, well, Beyonce herself is probably ready to let go of whatever it is they share with Brother Billionaire when it comes down to it. Now, I'm now realizing that the entire situation, that Nicki does not have an issue with Beyonce, and neither does Beyonce actually have an issue with Nicki Minaj. That might actually not be far-fetched, because what do you mean that during the time that Nicki was popping off on Brother Billionaire, Beyonce was also getting ready to, separate with this man? And people often make jokes on the internet to say that, well, Beyonce is the one who's basically feeding Nicki Minaj, the tea on Brother Billionaire. Well, it's a running joke on the internet. But now that I'm seeing it, I'm just like, there's a reason why Nicki doesn't really come for Beyonce like that. Like the way that she's able to separate these two people and doesn't let her emotions, get the best of her when it comes to her. I'm just like, she must know something behind the scenes. But anyway, let me insert that clip of Tasha K and what she had to say, and then I'll catch you guys after that.
Up that can of worms, and you notice Beyonce hasn't said anything, and I'm gonna spill some wine right here, right now. So there's some interns that work at New York Post, and they have a lot of them that come through there, and of course they're on NDAs, but there were a few interns that had contacted me at the end of 2023 going into 2024, if I'm not mistaken. This was right around the time when she was getting ready to drop Cowboy Carter, and Jay-Z had gotten word that, of course, all these allegations was coming up with Diddy and him being implicated in it. She had sought lawyers and was putting together a legal team to go ahead and legally separate herself, like, from Jay-Z, because he was having money issues after COVID. Rock Nation wasn't doing well. And so in order to protect her brand and everything from it, because she was afraid that everything that was going on with Diddy, and that's why they stopped having the Rock Nation brunches and stuff like that, was going to affect her, she had lawyers on deck getting ready to file for a massive divorce from Jay-Z. Now, I do not know what happened, because I know I was on the line. They had some TMZ reps on the line, and they were trying to sell the story to the biggest bidder. So basically, there were some women that Jay-Z had paid back in the day during the when he had that like 40/40 club or something like that. He had allegedly assaulted them. There was some allegations being made of, I don't know, sexual assault and all that stuff, and these lawsuits were paid all under the table. And apparently Beyonce allegedly did not know about all of this stuff. And so when New York Post had gotten in contact with one of the people who was Foxy Brown at the time, another was And it was like three other women that had all received alleged settlements from Jay-Z around the time when he had the 40/40 Club for, for these things happening. It was just strange how right around that time, Nicki started popping off on the internet about Jay-Z, because I do believe she thought too that this was going to be the time when he was going to go down. And so I just felt like she felt safe. And so when she started talking about the title deal and everything that was going on behind the scenes, and to find out that, and this is true wine, like very, very true wine. Like TMZ knows, I know, like these interns were trying to, the story was so big, they just were trying to sell it, trying to get it out, because she was slated to leave him, and Cowboy Carter was going to be the album to supposedly explain it. And, but for some reason she stayed. And so I don't think Nicki's crazy. I think just like how we found out behind the scenes what was going on. And that's why she strategically went at Jay-Z the way that she did, and went at Rock Nation, because Rock Nation was so broke. So broke. You saw the video of Desiree. Desiree tried to get that video taken down off my page. She tried to get her daughter's video taken down off my page. I needed millions of dollars. I had to go get millions of dollars. You know where I come from, and my business partner is a billionaire and won't give me no money. If your business partner is a billionaire and this is your business partner, why isn't he leveraging his funds towards your business? Is it because he's out of funds, and the funds are technically Beyonce's, and that's why he's having to borrow against the house? So I just feel like it was just it wasn't coincidental that Nicki came out and started popping off on Jay-Z the way that she did, because when the Diddy situation kicked off, and Tony Busby had got on his ass, it was just the perfect timing to just drag him. And I don't know if y'all could put together the timeline, but that's what had happened. Okay, so everything's alleged.
Well, there you heard that, you guys. There you heard that. Now, let me know in the comment section, do you see what I'm talking about? Something is certainly fishy about the timing of Nicki popping off and Beyonce allegedly trying to be separate from this man. I do not know business-wise. Is it marital-wise? I do not know. But let me know in the comment section what you think about this mess. And let me know also if you had caught it when it came out, or if it's something that just flew over your head. That being said, thank you very much, you guys, for watching. I will insert the video of that man and his hullabaloo that he was basically saying about Nicki Minaj's tour. But after that, I don't think that I'm going to be coming back. So do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to turn on the notification bell, and I will catch you in my next one. Okay, I really had to add this in before I insert that video, because I find it rather inconsiderate and offensive that this guy is crying about not having access to Nicki Minaj. Basically, Nicki is difficult to work with because she does not want all the backstage workers to have access to her. Now, bear in mind, this is the same woman who literally had a dressing room shot. Like, literally, people pew-pewed at her dressing room. And for some reason, that does not matter, because okay, help me, Jesus. I was about to cast this man out, very out of character, because this is very triggering, because how dare you make this about you just because somebody wants to up their security? Are you serious right now? I'm annoyed. But anyway, let me insert what he had to say. Yeah.
I never signed an NDA, so I can spill all the tea. This video is about one show in particular and one specific artist who was a pain in the ass to deal with. And I got a lot of requests for this one, so anyways, without further ado, this is about Miss Nicki Minaj. So this show specifically was at an arena, and the show itself was like really undersold. Like a lot of the shows that I work are like sold out, and hers was undersold. I think there was like a flash sale the day of, like to get a ticket for like $10. That's how undersold it was. I think that the arena's capacity was like 20 something thousand, and she only sold like 6,000 tickets. But anyways, that's not the point of the story. First of all, because I handle the dressing rooms, I have to do everything from like designing it like in a style that they request in advance. I have to do all the shopping to get all of the things that she requests, like food, drink wise. Her list was extensive. I wish I probably still have it somewhere, but it was extensive. But I managed to, get it all done make it all happen for her. And at this show in particular, her opening act, she had like 3 opening acts for whatever reason. And they were Tyga, Bia, who's like I got a whole lot of money in this month. And I don't even remember what the other one's name was. But anyways, I handled Nicki's dressing room, and I also handled Bia's and Tyga's. I want to say it was in Tyga's. Anyways, it doesn't matter. The show started at like 8, and obviously the opening acts come on first. Some artists come to the venue and they're there all day. Like they're there breakfast, lunch, dinner, all the way up until the show. Nicki wasn't even there when the show started. Like her opening acts were already going on and she's not even there. I was getting word that she was still in Miami and was like stuck in a like waiting for a flight to take off. I don't know, whatever. I was just hearing through the grapevine from security and her management company, she's in Miami and she needs to get to North Carolina ASAP because her show is going on. So that was the first red flag. Another nightmare about this show was Bia had requested chocolate covered strawberries, but I guess they like forgot to request that they needed to be like milk chocolate or not dark chocolate, whatever. So I brought them the wrong ones, and the manager pulled me outside the dressing room and said she cannot see these. She cannot see these at all. And he gave me his Amex and said just make it happen, like go find these chocolate covered strawberries. And I'm like, oh my god, it's like nighttime, where am I gonna find them? So I had to make them. I didn't even know how to make chocolate covered strawberries. Somebody's showing me how to like jerry rig chocolate covered strawberries in the back of a arena. So Tyga, Bia, they all go on, and at this point Nicki is still not here. She is still not there, and it's getting to be like 10, 11 o'clock. It's a Tuesday night. Mind you, we all have to stay until the show is over to like clean up the dressing rooms when they're done partying at the end. But anyways, Nicki finally arrives with like a barricade. Like I want to say she had like a police escort or something. I don't remember exactly. But what I do remember was her head of security screaming at the top of his lungs at all of us. Basically every Backstage employee was told, get out of sight. Like basically Nicki did not want to see any of the workers. And I know there's a lot of beef going on with like Megan Thee Stallion, or I don't know what was going on in her personal life, but essentially she did not want us workers to see her. So I hid behind a bush, and it's pitch black. It's like 11 o'clock at night. She's already supposed to be on. And I'm hiding behind a stage, and I can see her like coming in on a golf cart with a wig on or whatever. But I guess she's too cool to be seen by any of the workers or whatever. And which is really uncommon in this industry because usually the artists are really nice and down to earth. This was one of a few of the artists that I've had that are extremely difficult to work with. But I had already heard that about her. Then at that point, they made security backstage extremely closed off. They put like tarp up so that like you couldn't get backstage unless you had a certain backstage pass, which I did have, by the way. But they still like, they would like every 10 feet that you would move, there'd be another barrier to like get through another security person. And I was like, oh my god, it's not that deep. You didn't even sell half the arena. And because I work in the industry, we get to see every show for free, you know, like the side of stage or wherever we want, really. That's like not completely off limits. Like I can't go on the stage. But I had a talk with her head of security, I don't remember his name, and basically said like, hey, let me see the show. Another little tidbit is I actually had my ex work that show with me because he wanted to see Nicki. So I brought him in, and so it was a little awkward, like, and embarrassing to show him like, okay, like, hey, this isn't how the shows typically go. Artists are a lot nicer, and we usually don't have to turn all the lights off backstage and hide from the artist like that. I've never heard of that in my entire life. So yeah, she was a pain to work with, and she basically wasted pretty much everything that we put into her dressing room because it all had to go like